Hi, I'm NateBob27, and if you can't tell by the sound of my voice, I'm a little sick right now. Yeah, right after I recorded this video, I contracted the flu. So editing this has been a real pain. That's why it's taken so long to get out. And since it's been taking so long to get out, then it's kind of out of date. Like, it's not up to date fully. There's been some other rumors and leaks after this, but I really don't feel like recording any more of this video. It's agony to record this right now, so I'm definitely just gonna leave it at this and just leave the video to entertain you by itself. Thank you for staying patient with me. I know I haven't posted in a really long time. It's the new video. I finally gotten it finished, and here you go. And don't expect any new videos for a little while because I'm still feeling pretty sick. And on with the video. Hi, I'm NateBob27, and today I'm going to be going over all the leaks, rumors, speculations, and common sense surrounding the Switch 2, because I truly believe that the Switch 2 is coming out in 2024, and I'm willing to back that up with all the leaks and rumors and speculations that I've talked about before. And I want this video to be something of a recap of all we know about the Switch 2 before Nintendo announces it. And I also want it to be something of a memory, looking back on the era before Switch 2 came out to see what it was like and what we thought back then. So this is kind of a recap, archive, and something of just a fun video I thought to make. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's go. So first up, let's just go over all my pure speculation and what I believe to be common sense. So you see, look at the 2024 release date schedule. It is rather barren of brand new first-party Nintendo games. Like, we've got a whole bunch of ports, remasters, and remakes. We got the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake. Even though that is a massive important thing that lots of people are very excited about, it's not a brand new AAA Nintendo game. And same with the Luigi's Mansion game. That's a still really important and big game, but it's still a remaster, and one that didn't look like it took too much work to make anyways. So the only brand new first party AAA Nintendo game that we know of coming in 2024 is Princess Peach Showtime, and that's only one title. And not to mention that Princess Peach Showtime, even though it is a first party game that lots of people are very excited about, it's still a relatively minor game. It's not a major first party game, and when I mean major, I mean your 3D Zeldas, your 3D Marios, your Smash, your Splatoons, your Pokemon. Those are the bombshells, and we have nothing of that this next year. This year we had Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin 4. Last year we had Splatoon 3 and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And the year before that we had the Pokemon Diamond remakes and Monster Hunter. So every year there's a big AAA first party game coming to the Switch, but next year there really is none. So why would they do that? Nintendo's definitely not going to do that, except what if they do have a lot more big major first party games coming next year. They're just for a system, the Switch 2, that just hasn't been announced yet. You can't announce a game for a system that itself hasn't been announced yet. That is impossible. So why do I believe that it's going to be the Switch 2? Well, even more speculation and pure common sense. More common sense on this part too. So the Switch is basically the #1 most recognizable video game console ever. Like, it's the first time that Nintendo was actually more popular than PlayStation ever since like 2007, 2008. And even then, it was by a little bit. But look at that number right there. That's the number of Switches sold compared to the number of PS5. PS5 is at like 40 million, while the Switch is trailing to 30. How big of a gap is that? And I know PlayStation 5 is in the relative middle of its life and the Switch is at the end, but I can't imagine that PlayStation is gonna break 100 million if it's gonna surpass the Switch. I'm thinking around 90 million, because we are in the middle of the PS5's life. So why would Nintendo leave such a success like this behind? Everybody knows the Switch. Even non-gamers know what the Switch is. So why on earth would they leave the Switch branding behind? And you could argue that they did that with the Wii U, but it still had had Wii in the name, so it wasn't that big of a trade-off. I will talk about how they're not going to pull another one of those later, but one thing I can say right now is that leaving behind the Switch branding and calling it something like the Nintendo Switch Focus or the Nintendo Focus is completely idiotic. It would be starting all over. You wouldn't lose that massive worldwide recognizability. Recognizability? Is that a word? I don't know. And another reason that ties into this why I don't think they're gonna make another console that just doesn't switch is the Wii U. Why would they create another Wii U? They learned a very bad lesson. They should call it the Switch and clearly translate that it's the Switch 2, not the Switch Pro, like a PS4 Pro or a 3DS XL or something like that. It needs to be the Switch 2. And I can see where people are coming from saying that they would never do that because it's not Nintendo-y. It's way too on the beaten path and not as creative as Nintendo likes to be. But I have a solution. They can absolutely just do something like the Nintendo Switch 2000 or the Nintendo Switch 2.0 or something other than that that's still similar to that conveys that it's the Switch 2 except it has that little Nintendo spin. I feel like that's gonna be a definite sell for them, and I can definitely see them doing that. The Nintendo Switch 2000. I can already see the commercial. So we talk about pure speculation and common sense. Now let's talk about the rumors. Let's see the rumored games that are, well, rumored to come out. See, we have a batch that came out a couple days ago by now about a whole bunch of third-party games coming to the Switch and within 12 or 8 months, which also lends to the idea that the Switch 2 is going to come out within 10 or 12 months, which would put it in holiday 2024, which is a very safe bet if you ask me. But enough about when the Switch 2 is going to come out. Let's talk about more games planned to come to the Switch. There have been some Far Cry 6 rumors, Far Cry 7. I really don't play Far Cry at all. I don't really care about it. I just heard about like Far Cry 7 or something coming to the Switch 2. And then I also heard Monster Hunter 6, which makes sense based off how popular World and Rise are. So I can definitely see a new Monster Hunter game coming. And now, without third-party games, let's talk about first-party games. Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 is a prime candidate. For a little there, I thought that it might be the last big Switch exclusive game, but when Paper Mario Thousand Year Door was revealed in the last Nintendo Direct instead of Metroid Prime 4, I basically lost all hope for that. It's gonna be a cross-gen game on launch day for the Switch 2, like Breath of the Wild was for the Switch. That makes the most sense, and I think that that will be the best thing for Metroid and the best thing for the Switch 2. Even more, a 3D Mario is basically guaranteed, only because they've had a 3D Mario on launch day, or at least close to launch day, for the last, 30 years. So I'm pretty sure 3D Mario or Mario of any kind is a pretty safe bet. And in the realm of 3D Zelda, with how long it took us to get Tears of the Kingdom, I won't be expecting another brand new open world 3D Zelda for a pretty long time, so don't give your hopes up. But it's still worth pondering. A brand new 3D Zelda would definitely be a good launch title, but it's next to impossible with how long Tears of the Kingdom took. And then Splatoon 4. Okay, I have an idea. I have a theory about Splatoon that I've wanted to make a video about. How about they just make one big console redefining brand new Splatoon game at the beginning of a console's life? They did that with the Wii U, but they didn't feel like making another one because the Wii U wasn't doing too well. But then they did it with the Switch, and 4 years in, they made the same thing but better. And the first one was just totally groundbreaking and series redefining. How about they make Splatoon 4 on launch day for the Switch 2, which is just completely series redefining, and in 4 or 5 years they make the same thing but better, just like they did with Splatoon 3, and just keep cycling like that forever and ever and ever. I think that would be a pretty good idea for Splatoon, so I think that might be likely too. And Mario Kart 9, of course, I've got to include that. I love Mario Kart, so of course. And I've also heard some stuff about the Matrix demo, which had 4K and 120 FPS with ray tracing, and DLSR, so I'm pretty sure something Matrix. Oh, talking about 4K and 120 FPS, let's talk about power. Now, you could say that it's going to be as powerful as an Xbox One or a PS4 because the Wii was a generation behind and the Wii U was too, and the Switches, so they always play their next gen system with last gen powers, so the next gen Switch would be last gen powers, which right now would be Gen 8, which would be PS4 and Xbox One. But I do have a theory. There was some stuff about Red Dead 2 coming to the Switch and the Switch 2, which would place it on a PS4 level, but there was also some stuff about like big games like your Assassin's Creed, and there was even some rumors of Elden Ring coming over. So that would place it pretty high up on the list of as powerful as Xbox Series X or PS5, which would completely destroy the Steam Deck. But I can't see Nintendo doing that because just of the way they are. So I believe that PS4 or Xbox One or something in the middle like a PS4 Pro would be a safe bet for power. And based off of that, let's talk about pricing. Now, I'm guaranteed that it's gonna cost more than the Switch. I think a good $400 would be good. It's more expensive than the Switch, but it's less expensive than a PS5 or Xbox Series X. So I think that $450 would be a great bet. Or they could do something like a XL down the line that's $500 or $550, and then you got the slim model, which is only like, I don't know, $300, $350, like what the Switch is. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking of pricing. But if it's as powerful as a PS5 or Xbox Series X, then it's definitely going to be the $500 or $600 that those consoles are too. Or even more, since it's a handheld and they need to pack more in more strategically. That would definitely make it somewhere around $600 or $700. But I definitely don't believe that, so I think $450 is a good bet. Now let's talk about controller gimmicks. I'm pretty sure there's no controller gimmicks. There is some about some like fancy joysticks, and those can be fine, maybe if they're not too wacky, but I feel like anything besides the standard controller that we have now would be pretty good. And watch out for those fake leaks. I've seen a lot of fake leaks floating around. You know that famous picture of like the Switch in its box? That's definitely fake. That's not real. I think I used that as the thumbnail. It's definitely not that. Don't trust that. That's not real at all. And then there's also some people calling it the Nintendo Focus. Don't trust that either. And so there you go. There is a recap of everything we know about the Switch 2, or at least just about everything we know. So how did you think? How much do you think the Switch 2 is going to cost? When do you think it's going to come out? What games do you think are going to be on it? Do you like the Switch more than the Switch 2? Or are you excited for the Switch 2? Or dreading the Switch 2? Whatever it is, tell me in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.